Got me falling right back.
So today we're going to talk about not really how to remove algae like permanently, but more just how to physically get it off anything in your tank. So this will remove it, but this won't remove it permanently. Obviously, to remove it permanently, you'd have to adjust all things. It could be your light. It, it could be a lot of factors that could cause algae. So that's a whole nother video. So today we're just going to talk about kind of the best ways to physically remove it. And so there's all sorts of algae, but a lot of this, a lot of the algae we call it pretty easy. But I think the hardest one that I've seen and a lot of people have seen is, just your regular. Let's see an example. Your regular green algae kind of looks like that right there, and it just depends. If you get it early on, it's not bad to get it off. But when it sits on here for a while and you get more and more that build up, it honestly becomes permanent and you can never get it off. But for the easy, and there's a little bit of bubbles floating around. It's just I turned on the skimmer, but the easiest thing is you see a lot of people is toothbrushes. Now this is worn. This is years old, but you can see how worn down it is. But a toothbrush, if you have like a spare one that you just use for aquariums, obviously don't use it for anything else. But if you get one that's just for your aquarium, these will work just fine. And these will scrub all your rocks and even on your plants too. If you have hair algae, obviously hair algae will come off with your fingers if you kind of just, dig in it with your fingers. But a toothbrush it honestly works for anything. Even off your filters, anything, your glass. Also with your glass, I'd really recommend either get something, a razor blade if you want to go cheaper. You can also, same thing, use a toothbrush, but you kind of need something more rough. And these are a little more money, but like for the MagFlip brand, it's really not bad. I think this small one's like $10. And obviously, if you guys know how these works, these just magnetic to your glass and you can clean it off. They have let's see here, if I can get it off one hand. You just have a rough surface, really, to really get that algae off. But if you want to get a little bit better one, they do make ones by Flipper. Like Flipper makes some that have razor blades on the end of them, in which it can get it off pretty easily too. I don't think I have any algae on the glue. I usually don't have algae at all. The reason I'm making this video is because I do, so it's kind of a good time to. Yeah, I don't think I have any on the glass, so I can't really give an example. But usually you can find some little spotted algae. But okay, so the next thing is kind of that hard to get algae, and you might try this toothbrush and realize like now it's coming off. Like it comes off a little bit. It might be lighter in color, and you might get some of it off, but it's still like you can still see that green on there, and some people don't mind that look, and some people just want it off like I do. I mean, I don't mind a little bit, but when it gets too much, I just want it all off. I just want to keep my rocks clean as possible. Especially if you're doing a fully plant tank and your rocks get covered more by your background plants and all that, it's not such a big deal. But when you're doing like a Lugini setup where you just have maybe a carpet only and maybe a few plants and your rocks are kind of your main eyesore, you do want to kind of keep them clean. It kind of makes it look better overall. So that's just a recommendation. I mean, you do whatever you want. I mean, it's your tank. There's not really a right or wrong thing, but algae usually isn't the best looking thing ever. But some people don't mind it at all, so really it don't matter. But so like some hard algae would be like really all this is kind of hard algae. I kind of let this set for a long time and I shouldn't have. I got kind of lazy with this. But so this was kind of the main feature of this video. So I kind of, if you guys don't know, now this is a big, and so this is a bigger one. This is actually a really big one. Usually the bristles only go they go about to here. They're usually not this long. So this is kind of over the top, but this is what I had at the time. So I'm actually gonna buy a smaller one. Plus with a tank like this, it's kind of, you can barely get anything anyway. That's why I still have algae, because I couldn't even get it all. But this is just to show you what it is your house actually might have these already, but you definitely find them in any hardware store, Lowe's, Home Depot, any hardware store really that has these. You'll probably find these in the welding section, or metal, anything involved in metal, because these obviously these are meant for scraping metal. They're super hard actually, and if you can actually cut yourself with these. They're so hard because I was picking them up and I scraped my finger, and you can actually bleed from it. So they're actually really tough, and they're cheap too. They're usually the smaller ones are like a couple bucks, $2-3. But what these are for is, well, the real use. But you can use these in a tank, and these will get off your algae easily like it's nothing. You might have to scrub a little hard at first, especially if you have a lot of buildup like I did. But this will just take anything in its path off. And obviously over time they'll get like see like that. It gets kind of worn out. But these actually last for a long time. You could probably get a year's worth out of this or longer. I really don't know. I haven't used it long myself, but I know a lot of people use these. For a lot of people that have rocks in their tanks, they keep them clean. But so with these are okay with the aquariums. They're not gonna do anything to your water, like do anything weird or unleash something. But just make sure if you're using them from your house, like if you buy them just from the store, just make sure you only use it for your tank only, and just never use it for anything else. But if you're getting it from your house, just make sure it's never been used for, like on any metals or anything it's been used for, cleaning anything else off. Just make sure it's never been used, because you don't want to risk anything. I mean, tanks are expensive enough as is, especially if you have a setup like this and you have a lot of money into it. So you don't want anything happening to your water, your fish, or any of that, or it's going to kill off a bunch of things because you wanted to use a used brush. But just they're cheap enough, so just if you do get one of these, just use them where it's just for your tank, and then it worked just fine. I would show me scrubbing it off, but I already mostly did, and this is kind of a pain with this big one, so I'll have to do it another time when I get a smaller one. But other than that, that's really all I wanted to really show mine. And another thing is these pipe. If you have them, this is just something else if you have laying around. These pipe cleaners, I use these for my filter pipes or intakes and whatever. But those you can actually use those to clean your rocks too. They're kind of multi-purpose. They kind of work fine too. They just obviously, again, they just won't clean the hard spots, but they'll get the job done also. But other than that, I mean, there's other things, but you can kind of find, just if there's something else you find that you think will work, just make sure it's aquarium safe, and that's all you really need. But you just don't want anything unleashed in the water. But other than that, if you have questions about this tank, other than what the video is actually about, the whatever, if you want to know what a plan is, what I'm using, the equipment, the filtration, the plants, the substrate, whatever you want, comment down below. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one.